Go.
Hi, I'm Mish here from her.
I'm Jay. What's happening?
You
So we're
guys?
we're great, thank you, Chris. We're just chatting with you today because we've got some exciting news. We're closing the Mitchell Creek Blues and Rock Festival 13th of September through to the 15th. So we're there for 3 days. Got to behave though because we are the last band, which is unfortunate for us. So we're gonna have to be really good. But it's going to be 3 days of camping. The facilities are apparently amazing. There's 120 acts. So we're pretty excited. The band's flying up from Melbourne, and we're flying down from Cairns. So yeah, that's what's happening. That's in a couple of weeks.
Beautiful, guys. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Oh,
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Right. So as you mentioned, have the honour of closing the 13th Mitchell Creek Rock and Blues Fest on the Sunshine Coast hinterland from September 13th to 15th. Like you say it sort of doesn't really sink in, but if you think about it, guys, that's a massive achievement. Like you're closing the Mitchell Creek Rock and Blues Festival. Like that's a good achievement. Well done.
Yeah,
I know.
Wow.
It just came out of the blue. Like seriously, I was contemplating, like, where are we going? What are we doing with this band? What's going on? Is it? It's such, it's such hard work, as you know, to keep the band going independently. And I was really like having a bit of a downer. I was thinking, I don't even know if we're going to keep this band going. And then the phone rang, and it was Jimmy, and he said, "Hey, Mish, how'd you like to come and play at the festival I organised?" And I was like, "Wow, okay, what's this all about?" And so it was just out of the blue, totally out of the blue. He said he'd been following us for a while, and he was drawn to our single, "The Truth." He really loved that. It's a bit of a classic rock kind of single. So yeah, that's basically how it happened.
Nice. And the festival's got 120 artists playing, including the Radiators, there's Hatfits, Shane Pacey Trio, Tim Gaze and the Rough Diamonds. Like, are there any bands in particular you're looking forward to catching?
Well, Jerome's really good mates with Lockie. Dolly, he's playing just before us.
He's playing before us.
Yeah.
On the Sunday. So
That'd be
I'm really looking forward to checking out him. He's just amazing. He is such an incredible player, showman, and one of the nicest guys.
Yeah. So and there's a few bands dotted through the 3 days that we definitely want to catch. We're going to be probably spending the Saturday rehearsing in Jim's studio on the property, so we might miss a few there. But look, we're so looking forward. Just seeing it. So they're such great guys and gals. Yeah,
great fun.
Yeah, I've got girlfriends, that I've known since high school that have got tickets that are coming and that live around that area. So there's about 3 different groups that are coming. So it's gonna be pretty fun.
It's gonna be epic, dude.
Epic. Now, we've had a little bit of a joke about this, but it's a serious thing. Like you're going to be there for 3 days. There's 120 bands, 3 days of partying. Have you got a battle plan how you're going to pace yourself yet, or are you just going to cut the cheese?
Hiding. Lots of hiding.
We're going to do an Angus Young on it.
Big team.
Look, we're pretty old, seasoned, we don't have roles. We just keep quiet. For me as a vocalist, it's try not to talk too much, as you probably will do, Chris.
Try not to get caught up in the emotion of it, I guess.
Yeah,
and screaming over music.
Yeah,
and trying to have conversations, like especially on the
I've seen it happen before though. Like you guys will be trying to be quiet because you don't want to wreck your voice. People will be trying to talk to you. They'll be thinking you're rude because you're not talking back to them. They'll get the shits at you. You'll get the shits at them. You'll yell at them. Then all of a sudden, bang, your voice is playing.
It really is going to be a challenge, especially like we're talking, there's 3 of my best girlfriends that are coming, with their part. I'm in trouble, but I'll behave myself. I we'll just pace it. We'll be
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
But,
Now,
lay low.
right.
now, looking through the lineup, I reckon aside from the Radiators, you guys are pretty much going to be the hardest and heaviest band over the 3 days, mate. So, do you think? Have you thought about yet? Like, do you reckon the crowd will be hard to win over, or do you reckon they'll be looking for something different?
Oh, look, I reckon it's, being 3 days, there's a lot of different blues, there's some folk, there's soul, there's a bit of rock. But we definitely this for sure. And I said to Jimmy, look, man, we've got some soul songs, we've got some more sort of funky stuff. Like, do you want us to kind of, play it down a bit? And he said, no, 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 no. He said, the harder the better, Mish, go hard. So, all right.
All right, you've got the
So
green light.
Yeah, totally. So we've pulled out all of our seriously, hard. There's a couple of classic rock songs in there, but most of the harder stuff. So I usually sort of try and do our sets so that, there's a bit of a, light and shade and a bit of a crescendo, but this is going to be in your face. Yeah. We're just going to go for it.
Guns blazing.
Yeah.
Why not?
We're going to open with toe tag, so it's a huge riff. Nelson Young riffing away there. So yeah, it's gonna be in their face, that's for sure. I hope we win them over. I think, we've done, I don't know, most of the songs we've played, we've done a lot of shows with these songs.
For a wide variety of people. And so, we're not playing metalcore. We're not doing anything so disruptive. And it's all blues based, it's all soul based, and it's all, classic rock. So it really fits as far as the other songs that I'm playing. It's along the same lines. It's just probably maybe a little bit, maybe a little faster occasionally.
Yeah. So look, we definitely had that conversation. But like I said, we've had the green flag, green light, and we're just gonna go for it. And I think being the last band, it'll be a party. They've got the ones that are the stayers to the end.
Yeah, true.
They'll be the hardcore ones there anyway. So all the kids will be in bed, I'm pretty sure.
They should be anyway.
Hopefully.
All the good teams.
You guys recently released your latest EP, Toe Tag, as well. So how's the early response been for that?
Yeah, really good. I probably need to do more work. It's a constant. We're pretty organic, I've only really sort of gotten onto this streaming in the last couple of years. Like our first album was a CD, and we sold 500 copies, hard copies of that. I think I've got 10 left for this festival. And so I was pretty anti-streaming, to be honest. I'm a bit old school like that. So it's definitely something that we need to look further into. There's no escaping it. Unfortunately, you just got to give life's work away.
And we're doing it ourselves. We don't crew, office, company, or that sort of thing, that kind of infrastructure behind it. So we're doing it, and bit by bit, it takes a bit to make enough noise. It's a lot of work.
But you know what? Every radio station that I've had time to approach and send a to, they've all played it. So, we do get a lot of support, community radio support. It's just that constant, job. It'd be great to have a label. You just got to keep at it constantly. But look, it's going all right. It's organic, and we had 80 streams the other day, and I think, well, that's okay considering I don't advertise, I don't do the boosts or whatever that is, So
you guys sound so much like me. It sounds so much like me. It's like I got no fucking idea.
We're so old school, man.
Just find out step by step.
I'm still out there with the posters and the glue, like putting the posters on the telegraph poles. Right. That's how old school I am.
You know what? Honestly, I believe that still works. In a sea of bullshit and the white noise and the constant shit that's on your screen, if you're going to your regular and walking around Chapel Street or Brunswick Street or whatever, and you see the poster every day, I think it does into the subconscious on some level. And that's apparently takes 6 times in the old scale of marketing that I used to work with, before someone acknowledges your brand. So I think having those polies and shit like that's really important. I really do.
Yeah.
And I always do that with all of our shows when we promote. I always do posters. Yeah.
Cool. Now, reading through your press release, guys, it says that you're continually pushing the boundaries of your musical expression. Like, it sounds great, but what does it actually mean? Can you elaborate on that a bit for us?
Well, yeah, because it's such a process for me personally as a writer. I mean, I collaborate still with my old guitarist Steele. So you know, we've got so much stuff on the shelf yet to release. So that has been interesting bringing that into, you know, I had to, when I put her together 6 years ago, that was kind of all the songs I had was my back catalogue. And then when Jerome and I started writing together, you know, we wrote probably 5 or 6 songs on the first album together. So that first album was quite eclectic. We've got including Jerome, there's 4 drummers on the first album. So I was pretty much, it was all hired guns, you know, I was paying session players, which, you know, like Venom's, you know, was in my original band still 30 years ago. So Venom's always been there and great and been a big part of the songwriting process for me. But now, so I don't know, I think it's 18 months, 2 years almost now with this lineup. So, you know, Mark McLeod coming on board, and Mark has a really distinct style. And so that's been interesting, like melding that into what we do, kind of the stoner rock and the slower bluesy rock stuff. It's really amped up the style. I think it's pushed it into, because Marky is quite a metal player, as you know. It's pushed it a little heavier, which is great life. But what has happened with Nelson, Jerome, Nelson's a guitarist, one of the guitarists, and you've got Christian, who's a young guy who's very creative, great musician. So all of us write. Even Di has put forward a beautiful piece. It's kind of like what do we call it? Crazy Circus.
Oh, it's the Dark Circus.
Dark Circus vibe.
So it's just an amazing, and it's a collection of stuff because Di wrote the song, Nelson took it and like kind of produced a demo that really went somewhere else. It was just, it just took it to sort of more electronic kind of bigger rock sound, and it's amazing. So as we finish it and put more lyrics on it and figure out, you know, the storyline and all the things that we write about, especially recently, have been fairly political. I mean, we don't do girls and cars kind of songs, you know. It's like there's usually even though there's, you know, the odd love tribute song or this and that, but pretty much, you know, we try to keep topical as far as current things and political stances, because we're pretty, you know.
Oh,
yeah, a little bit. You know.
Venom says I'm very cryptic with the way I write. So I don't know. I think it's just for me, it's a personal journey. If I'm really arced up about something, then I'll put it down. You know. But so we're pushing in that sense. Like it's just so cool to be able to get together with a really amazingly talented and creative group of people who, in their own rights, all write music and have their own individual styles. So, and you know, it's we're quite, you know, everybody works really well together, quite diplomatic in that sense as a band songwriting together. Everybody's heard, everybody gets to put in, and I think that became really evident with on the EP, Let the Enemy Go, as a song that we all arranged and constructed together. Christian had come up with a riff. And the funny thing was we were jamming with Christian, Jerome and I, down at the Frankston house. We had a little studio there. And this little like riff came up, and amongst a lot of other things we were working on, we record everything. We listened back to that and said, this was really cool riff. Let's work on it. And so Jerome and I worked on it, came up with the song. The lyrics flew pretty easily. And then we said to Christian, oh, we've written something from that idea. And then he said, oh, he listened to it. He goes, it's close. But he goes, I've already recorded that. Like, that's actually a song. And so we were like, oh, wow. So, that was really interesting because he didn't say anything. And so when we listened to the original recording that he did with his, like when he was 16, I mean, what did he do, 22 or 3 now.
But he just,
and it was like, oh, wow, we heard this song. It was really cool. So Jerome was like, oh, okay, we might go with your riff. So that was great. And so then, it was never really arranged. It was only a really basic, like I call them sketches. You just have a concept. You might have a verse, a chorus. Most of the songs, when the guys put things forward, don't really have a bridge. Jerome is the king with bridges. He's really good at writing and singing.
Missing link.
You know who you are. So so we're pushing it in that sense. And I think, I love Nelson's sound. He's one of those guitarists that has a signature sound. And we sort of decided that we would go that's almost like a southern kind of blues rock style that he's sort of come up with in a few of the tracks. So it's a very interesting process, and we're not like, oh no, it's got to sound this, it's got to sound like that.
No, this is the original. This is the no. We sound like what we feel.
Yeah.
What we think.
Wherever the inspiration comes from.
We're influenced by
the music,
all of the greatest music for the past 50, 60 years, probably more like 80 years, because we listen to a lot of stuff. I mean, I come from a like gospel jazz kind of background because of my dad. My dad was a musician, and so I listened to a lot of that as a child. But then Christian has just come out of university. He's got all these other influences, grunge, but he's a horn player as well. So he's got a huge vocabulary, standards and big band stuff, and so it's wild to see that pool of influences. Nelson is another amazing. His dad is a music teacher, a pianist, a piano teacher, and but he just loves the Beatles and loves that kind of pop sensibility with nice harmonies but the tricky chords, and so we take all that, right, and we try to.
And then there's Di.
Make the best, and then there's
Di's very the deep purple. She comes from that, that 70s sort of
But she loves Beethoven. She loves Rachmaninoff. So it's like, and she's a teacher. She's a piano teacher. So you know what I mean? It's like it's a really.
I'm just a ring.
It's a pretty, and we want everybody to, kind of equal share. That's what we've come to. So getting all that to happen, and getting all that to happen in the format we're all really happy about, and that still has a modern edge to it.
Classic.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah, classic. But
it's fun. It's fun though. For me, it's just I'm just loving having an actual band, like a serious lineup. Everyone's really committed, everyone's into it, and it's a beautiful thing to have. I feel very blessed.
Yeah, very cool. Just say someone's going along to Mitchell Creek and they haven't heard of her. Give us 3 of your songs that they can listen to get a gauge on the band and get to know you a bit better.
See, what would they say here? It's great, and we stylistically, I don't know, like the Sex and Jesus is like
Sex and Jesus is one song, but that's
kind of a Rob Zombie influence vibe,
But then there's all the good things, which is
no, I'm not playing that.
you know, but we're not playing it.
No, Jimmy said go hard. So
Yeah,
no,
we're gonna go.
no
We're not-
soul. No.
But that's, if you listen to it, that's soul of our writing. It's part of our soul.
Yeah, but it has a bit of a Janice
Yeah.
vibe in,
And then-
in the vocals.
But then there's
the truth,
Toe
toe,
which is pretty, I don't know, it's hard to describe that.
My favorite song is "Let the Enemy Go." That's my favorite song. I love it. It's a rock. It's a classic kind of rock pop. It has a pop element to it. I really love that song.
Yeah, so that would be.
Um,
And then.
but everyone loves The Truth. The feedback
The Truth.
and the streams, The Truth and Toe Tag are the two singles that seemingly are getting the most airplay. Yeah.
So The Truth, Toe Tag, and Enemy at the end.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yep, we'll settle on that.
Well, it's half the
It's half,
spectrum.
because there's 3 other songs,
There's
and it'll be a whole different
yeah,
chapter of music.
like Dancing Balls, more
Oh,
stoner
God,
rock.
yeah.
You know.
Well, they're just going to have to go and watch you play it and figure it out for themselves, then, aren't they?
That's
I
pretty
think
much
so.
it. That's
Yeah.
pretty much it. Because Sharpie is another song. It's like
Sharpie's more ACDC.
it's kind of like an easy sort of rock riff,
Aussie, good Aussie
yeah,
rock.
good Aussie fucking bar rock.
But all of it's rock.
But it's all
Yeah.
yeah. But they're just varying flavors, and so this is where we travel.
Very cool, guys. All right. Well, thanks very much for your time today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Her are closing the Mitchell Creek Blues and Rock Festival from September 13th to the 15th. They'll be on the 15th, last band. So anyone still standing, make sure you head out to the stage.
We dare you.
We'll see you at the merch tent afterwards.
Yeah.